Hello, everyone. This is Tam with Talking with Tam on January 9th. The year, what year is it, Dennis girls?
2012.
Yay! Did you guys have a good New Year?
Yes.
Yes, Heidi, did you have a good New Year?
I did.
Good, good. So, do you girls know what my topic is for this evening?
Customer service.
That's exactly right. Real quick, Diana, have you had experience in customer service?
I've had all kinds of experiences in customer service.
How many years?
Oh my goodness. Let's see here. Now you're going to tell my age.
Well, just give a ballpark.
Probably 25 years.
April, how many years?
17.
And Heidi, how many years have you been in the customer service or business aspect?
On and off, probably
15. So I would say that I have got experts at my fingertips here, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. We've seen it, heard it, done it all.
Well, I'm doing a little hair fix because we got major issues. My hairdresser that's 10 years old is waiting for me, so we have to cut to the chase here. Let me tell you girls what happened. You ready? Went to JcPenney's yesterday, day before yesterday. We'd gotten an order, 3 different orders, and I waited for everything to come in because we live an hour away. So I thought, okay, I'll wait for everything to come in, then I'll go pick it up. We kept getting the calls. Everything was in. Go over there. Number one, I was astonished at the amount of people shopping, but that's a whole different vlogging cast, as you say, and waited for my order. And little Brian had told me that 2 of my orders had come in, but the 3rd order had not come in, even though they called me and said it had come in. I spent 30 minutes while Brian tried to figure out where my watch was for my youngest daughter. So he goes from one end of that store to the other. He's on with the head office. He's talking to everybody. Of course, there's no manager there at the quote manager there at the time. The manager, Brittany, had signed for the watch that my daughter had ordered. So they knew it had come there, but they did not know where it was. Could not find it. So I get all the way back home, and let me tell you this real quick too. He tells me that I'm going to have to come back and get it once they find it. And I explained to him, do you see how much gas is now costing a gallon? And I live an hour away, and it's not like I get over to this city, every other day or once a week. This is, I had to take some time out and come over here. That's why I waited till all my orders had come in. Well, we'll give you a 10% coupon when you come over here. Now, if we don't find it, then we'll reorder it at the same price. He's going to let me, they're going to reorder it at the same price, and then they'll ship it to me. Well, you know what, girls? He calls me at 9:30 and tells me they found it in the vault. Diana, what do you think about that?
I think it's great. You have to go pick it back up?
Yep, but I get my 10% off to buy some more merchandise at their store. But let Diana go first, and then you go, April. Go, Di. What would you do?
I just think that it's just they are not able to handle their quality control. I mean, they don't know what they've got and where it's at, and there's just a lot of confusion.
Okay. April?
I think, well, that's a big joke. You can take the survey on the back of their receipt, Tammy. You can get 15% off. Forget the 10% off. Go take their survey, tell them how horrible they are, and get yourself an extra 5% off. I think the issue that we have with customer service is nobody's getting paid commission anymore. Everybody's hourly. And I thought about thought about this, and I know that's what it is. Because if you notice, anywhere you go in, Susie part-timer, she's going to make the same amount of money whether she tells you something or she doesn't. And while you're sitting there trying to get help from her, she could care less because she's on her iPhone texting. She gets paid the same whether she's on her iPhone or not texting, and it doesn't matter if she sells anything or not. And I think that's what's happened with this country and why the customer service has gone out the door.
Now, Heidi, I know that you've had dealings with dealing with products and stuff. What would you have done? Do you have any answers?
As JcPenney's or as you?
As me, what would you have done?
Well, I wouldn't go back to 10%. I would be requesting more than that, like April said.
So is it what I should do is go whenever, because I told them, don't put me on your call list because you got Susie Q call me. I was getting 2 to 3 calls a day. That was the other thing. Why were they keep calling me? I already got the message. Why do they have to keep calling me? It's like nobody knows who's on first and who's doing what. And my other thought is, you guys are all computerized. Why can't you tell me what's going on? Am I asking too much as a consumer?
Well, I think what you need to do, too, is you need to call that manager down there and say, no, I'm not driving into town. You're going to ship that to me because your staff did not know what to do, the proper protocol. Therefore, it is not my fault. I did my end of the deal. You all didn't. You ship me the item. I'm not driving into town.
So, and the reason one reason I wanted to hit this is my oldest daughter is working fast food and then working at a college, and she's explained to me that I don't understand because I've done with customer service, but it's been in the health field, and I've had certain things happen, and it's still consumer based. They have a right to choose who they go to for their physical therapy, so it's still a customer service, but it is different than drive-through, restaurant, retail, and I understand that it's a different situation, but she just told me I didn't understand. So while I was dealing with Brian and standing there, I was trying to remember her and her words and not get too upset. But then again, I'm like, I'm the consumer and I just spent X amount of dollars at your store, and I think I have some rights here, and try not to be mean about it, but I didn't know how far to push it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I think you have to give them the information that you're not happy. There's a lot of times that a customer comes in and they're dissatisfied, and that's part of their job. In the end, the consumer pays their bill. That's how they get their paycheck. So if they don't realize that their job is not up to expectation, they can't fix it. So first of all, I would at least draw to their attention that their customer service is not satisfactory.
Okay.
Sometimes that's a hard thing to do, but just like the Cracker Barrel girl that threw the butter at us, I don't think she'll throw butter again at a patron after I got through with her. If they don't realize how they treat you, in the end, it's going to affect their paycheck. They need to fix that.
Okay, so we're at 7 minutes and 20 seconds, and I'm still in a limited time with YouTube. So I want to go through each of you, or let you guys give some input, because I know you've been on the other side where like Brian was, and you're trying to deal with the customer. So Diana, tell me your worst experience.
Well, I don't know if this is my worst experience, but it's one I'll never forget. The one that is in my mind is when I was working as a cashier at a convenience store, and I was having to work in a college town dealing with college students, and my job was to ID when they wanted to purchase, alcoholic beverages. Due to the fact that the student had a fake ID, I refused him to sell, and the next thing I know, he's relieving himself on the counter. So that is one that I hold up there in those, awkward moments, and I can't believe that he just did this, because he was angry with me because I was, doing my job. And what some of these people don't understand is we're just the person that's carrying out the laws of the land, the owners, their rules and regulations. And so when you go in there and you're upset, we just have to do whatever the person tells us. That's our job.
So what happened to him?
I think I called the police, and I don't know if they came after him or what. But
okay.
Needless to say, I had urine that had to clean that up. I can tell you this: over 25 years, I could probably write a book of all the stupidest, craziest things that people have done to me. But that's one of those ones that I rank as pretty disgusting.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if I could handle that. All right, April, tell us yours.
Mine was when I was working at Things Remembered, and I was an assistant manager, and Christmas Eve, just crazy as usual, everybody waits to the last minute to buy their gifts, and I had a very well-dressed professional come in to buy his wife a jewelry box, and he wanted her name to be engraved on it, and so I did the order as it was directed and had it ready, thought it was going to be wonderful. I think I even gift wrapped it for him, and he, within about an hour or two, had brought it back and had told me that the jewelry box was completely shattered, that I had given him a broken jewelry box. I had explained to him there was no way I could have done that because I had already showed him the product, it was fine when it left the store. And I think he had taken it somewhere else and had it re-gift wrapped. And therefore, I think they had dropped the jewelry box. So he was wanting me to replace this. I think it was almost $100 at the time for the jewelry box. And I explained to him I couldn't do that because it did leave the store in good condition.
Mm-hmm.
And so he got upset with me. The store was absolutely packed with employees and customers. And he lifted up the jewelry box and started to throw it at me. Literally plunged forward with a huge jewelry box. We're all ducking, gasping, yelling, called security, and he's cussing me out. And so he ended up, thank God, I would have been knocked out completely had he thrown that huge mahogany jewelry box at me. We ended up calling security and everything, and they couldn't get to him fast enough. But I would say that was probably the worst experience, especially being a 17-year-old as an assistant manager and having to deal with some psychotic person.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Oh. Heidi, do you have any experiences that you want to share?
I probably do, but at the moment I can't think of any. I think I can talk those.
Those are pretty traumatic, aren't they? That would make me want to get out of the retail business. So,
I have to say this. Roll Tide!
Well, I know we're waiting for the big Bama game, but it's still just hard for me to say Roll Tide. But because of your daughter, I'm going to have to say Roll Tide. Yeah, I know.
I'm up here watching everybody here in Arkansas with their purple on, and I'm like, what are they thinking? But we do have a bunch of Louisiana people up here, so. Anyway,
Okay.
That's another story. That's why Heidi can't get nothing on her mind because she's thinking.
Too much Bama. She's rolling with the tide.
Making enchiladas and ready for a game.
You can say yes or no, and that's about it. Well, April, I want to come back real quick to when I went to Best Buy to look at televisions. The guy Max at Best Buy, he went through the whole scenario with the Panasonic and the LED versus the LCD, and he tried to educate me because it was very obvious I had no clue what was in and what was so old that you should not even consider. But he kept following us the whole time. So what you're telling me is Max would not make commission on whatever I bought that day.
No, unless Best Buy has changed their policy. Last I spoke to them, they are not commissioned.
Okay.
So maybe he was literally just doing that. Now let me say this: you can be not commissioned, but you still have goals to make.
I see.
And so I'm assuming he probably had a goal to make that day.
Okay.
So, and that could affect his pay raise in the future. But as far as these big retailers, the big box places, they, to my knowledge, do not do that anymore. And I do think that that's why we are suffering from that. And that's the flip side. I went to Old Navy the other day after washing Sierra's leggings one time. They completely shrunk 2 inches. She had high waters on, and I went and took them back and with my receipt, and they were very, very nice and accommodating. So to the flip side, there are a few people out there still that care about customer service and are harder to find.
Yeah.
But I was so impressed with her because she went above and beyond to help me get my money back, and then she told me where the bigger size leggings were that I could get for Sierra. I went back there, and all the ones I had picked out were not on sale, and she gave me the new ones all 70% off, and even though they weren't on sale.
Yeah.
And I just walked out of the store with my mouth almost on the ground because you don't ever usually find that. It's very hard to find that customer service nowadays. So, but there are still some people out there that actually do care about, how people want to be treated and how they,
repeat. Well, JcPenney's is hurting. I mean, the JcPenney's of today is not like when we were kids. I said that some of the quality and I mean, I'll just say that. I don't mind to say that on YouTube. And what got me is when I asked him, could you not just do like the gift card and I'll go over to the jewelry part and I'll buy the watch and then they can figure it out and then do whatever. And he told me no. That's what astonished me.
You really need to follow up with that because they are, I will say, we've had bad experiences with JcPenney's here also in Little Rock, and their customer service stinks.
Okay.
I had the one girl trying to come over, and she was about 20 times my size over the counter to knock me out.
Yeah.
Because I told her, that her customer service was horrible.
Yeah.
I just could not believe the way she was treating us. So I think JcPenney's has lost the quality people.
Okay.
You
All right.
probably just need to go over his head or let him know you're going to go over his head.
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything.
It was no use of arguing with him. So,
Can't do it.
all right, girls. Well, Diana, thank you for coming. April and Heidi, thanks for being part of my vlogging, and I think I'll be calling you again soon.
Thanks.
All right, roll tide.